And this is the seat for the Yamaha TMAX. It's seen better days. I'm not even sure how to fix it because the foam is pretty ripped. Now let's look at the seat, because I'm not going to put it or reupholster it exactly the way it is. This is how I got the seat. It had the rips along the seams. This right here is a seam. And the way this particular seat is, it's got a different texture where you would sit. This is a different texture. And then there's another line, which is another part that's been stitched. I am not sure how to really do that, so I'm not worried about it. So this is just completely falling apart. If this happens to your seat, you have a couple of options. Option one is the more expensive, tedious, is remove all of the stuff and refoam it and then reupholster it. Or you can just get a seat cover, the best, easiest way, just put a seat cover. But I kind of like the idea of modifying the seats, and I want to learn how to do that. So with these old seats, I might as well do it. And this, of course, is the pan. All of this white stuff, it was water and moisture. But look at this. We have the TMAX toolkit. This thing has not been touched. We're going to put that aside. Then there's this cable. I guess it's like a helmet cable or whatever. And our support is really nice. And it's the only thing that's in great shape. There's nothing wrong with it. So what I want to do is remove it. There's these bolts up here. We're going to use that to remove. First I'm going to remove the strap for the toolkit. Let's go ahead and get this 1mm. Oh, there goes the lumbar support. It's in really good shape. So this is how, if you want it, you could also reupholster this, but I'm not going to do that. So removing this little bit of foam reveals another 10mm up here, and I'm just going to remove that. There we go. It's just a nut. And that's the clip that holds the lumbar support. So let's put that aside. Come here. We have to remove this piece of plastic. Perfect. So now we have all of this that we are going to reuse. I don't think, at least for now, I don't think I'm going to be reupholstering this. This is the part where we start to figure out what, I mean, this thing is just, you see this? It's just completely ripped. Go all around and remove the staples. Here, they made these series lines with staples, and here they cut a piece. I think what this helps is the curvature, so that way you don't create these creases on the other side. And also, we have like a little bit of foam that they put here, I guess, so it when it hits the plastic, it's a little bit better. Okay, I think I removed most of the staples. So I'm just going to work on this part. This part is going to be extremely difficult. I'm not exactly sure how to do this part because they have a couple of parts that they're stitching here. So a seat seems easy to do, but Jesus, this one, there's quite a bit going on. So I'm just using some pliers to remove, you know, this must be like 100-something staples in here. And I think we're done. That's a lot of staples. And that is the tub with the foam. This is pretty much all done. So this is the inside. You can tell from the inside how many stitches this thing is. I don't have the skills for this, so I'm not going to be stitching multiple things together. This is the part that I don't know exactly what to do. This is the foam. You can tell where some water seeped in, but we have these big cuts. And this is just, I guess, time started wearing this down, but I want to be able to fix this. I'm going to use this Loctite tight foam. I've seen this in a video. Do not know if it'll work, but the whole point is to fill this up. It's going to get kind of bubbly. I mean, I don't need much of this at all. And then I'm going to use this in a couple of my doors that might be leaking air. And I'm just going to like get it nice and full in these 4 spots. Like this one needs quite a bit more, and then this one, and then this one. So 4 spots. I don't think I need anything else. There we go. You don't need much. This is already too much. And I'm just going to kind of push it down. This stuff should glue itself. Quite a bit is not a lot on this. So I just kind of want to move this around. Okay, so I've let this dry for a bit. Don't cut your hands, of course. The sanding, no, I'm just going to clean all of this up. Next step, I got the cloth. This cloth I had on my Honda Ascot. Just a stapler, an electric stapler is going to make things much easier. This is just vinyl. Now we need to measure. And, you know, unfortunately, this seems kind of short this way, so let me turn. Yeah, I mean, this is actually kind of a stretch. I don't believe it'll fit this way. Yeah, we need a little bit more room, so we're going to have to cut it diagonally just to get enough room for this. So there we go. That's better. That's one staple. I'm going to push this down. Yeah, this requires a lot of force going down. Perfect, and that's the seat. One thing that's happened is it gets kind of bunched up, and we have to be a little bit more careful. That means that you're going to have to undo the staples and then move things around. But because of this is so flexible, you can do it fairly easy. Here, one thing I made a mistake is I stapled it very close to the edge and it actually punctured the backside here. So make sure that you punch a hole closer to the middle. So one thing I'm going to use a blow dryer. You can use a heat gun. I'm just going to heat it up. That way it's more pliable to move around. That little ridge that you can see, that's the foam. That's how big of a difference just a little bit of a like a lip on the foam does. So I should have sanded it a little bit better, but so far I'm pretty happy with this. Now time will tell. The Ascot that I did before was much easier than this one. This one's got all of these ridges and stuff, makes it much more complex. But so far I think it looks pretty good. This thing here is where the lumbar support is going to fit. We'll have to make a hole and then attach it. But right now, I'm just going around and trying to see any large imperfections. So let me turn this way. Right there, there's a crease. And we're going to try and get rid of that crease. Right about here. So that's where I stretched it, but I didn't stretch it over here. So I'm going to undo some of these. Heat it up and then push it this way. Pretty much done with the seat. I think this is as far as I'm going to get with it. Now I have the lumbar support, and it might look a little bit odd because this is a different texture, but it's in good shape. So I'm going to put it on. I believe this kind of goes like this. And then this kind of sandwiches it in there. I think that looks so much better. Different texture, yeah, absolutely different texture, but I think it's still pretty good. And it just requires a little bit of cleaning, a little bit breaking in. If it requires a little bit of a change, you can still adjust it. You could just remove the staples, push it back. So I think that looks pretty good. On the underseat, you see all the staples. The more staples, the better, but also makes it harder to work on. So